Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are not building anything, we are actually taking stuff apart. While we were working on the hubs for the stretch mower, or my outer axles, we started getting a funny sound coming from the mill head. So we get to try and take all this goodness apart and see if we can find the bad bearing. We have somewhat of an idea of what we're doing because we've watched one YouTube video, and now I'm just gonna make it up as we go along. Ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Great. Let's go. It seems like we have some mice up here that are stealing our neighbor's dog food and hiding it in our mill. We think we found potentially where the bearing is that's bad. If we spin the shaft, you can hear a squeaking sound. I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera or not. So, as you can hear, there's a high-pitched squeak sound coming from it, so we think a bearing's going bad. We're gonna try and finish digging to it and see if we can clean up the rest of the stuff while we're in here. So, believe it or not, this thing actually came apart a lot easier than we expected it to. It was really, I think the hardest thing we faced was two flathead screws holding the electrical box on. But, here's our table of parts, and I think we have found our bad bearing. It's right here. Let's listen. Oh, you hear the glass in it too.
Bearing is shot.
So we found our bad bearing. Now we just need to finish taking that apart and seeing if we can either fix the bearing or order a new bearing.
So we got to press this off to get the bearing off. That sounds horrible. We beat on it with no success, so now we put some WD in it. We're going to heat it with a torch and then possibly either beat on it or we will put it in a press and press on it.
Beating with the hammer didn't work. So, now let's use a press. trying to get this bearing pressed off the shaft. We're trying to use these quarter 20s right here as jack bolts, and I believe it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Not sure if you're supposed to use them as jack bolts, because it actually looks like there's a flange underneath for a bearing puller, but jack bolts seem to be working just fine, so we're gonna keep on with it. Here's our culprit. She is shot. So now we're gonna start cleaning, try and go run by our local bearing store tomorrow and see if we can pick up another one of these things. So let's get to cleaning. Here are all our freshly cleaned parts. We picked up our new bearing earlier today, and now we get to start trying to assemble everything. Hopefully by the end of the night, we'll have a working mill again. after an evening full of work, we got the Bridgeport head put back together. Everything seems to be working almost right. The story with this mill is that before we got it, someone backed into it with a forklift and it's bent some of the cast aluminum and it puts things in a weird bind. So we're gonna go and play with it a bit, shim things if we need to, see if we can get everything straightened back, but let's see it. Still a little noisy, but not near as bad as it used to be. So let's get back to work.